Hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to Kodansha Live. My name is Misaki, and I am the host of the show. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are new to our show, this is our live stream where we talk about all things related to manga from Kodansha. And today's episode is dedicated to Don't Play With Me, Miss Nagatoro. And also we have some new announcements for July 2021 digital debuts. So I hope you get to stick around all the way until the end. All right, so let's get started with some new announcements for the July digital debuts. For those of you who don't know, Kodansha has been releasing brand new manga every week on digital platforms. So I will go over the new titles that's coming out in July. So first up, Jajan, that's my atypical girl. This is one couple that I have been paying attention to. I honestly can't keep my eyes off of. It's a very unique couple. So it's a relationship between seems to be like a manga artist who's just making manga and doing his odd jobs to kind of make his ends meet. Not like super mainstream mangaka or anything, but one day like somebody come and knock on his door, and this person is standing in front of the door, and he can't even tell if it is a boy or girl in the beginning. But she happens to have his original manga work and seems to be like a really big fan his work, like his actual original work. So but she kind of awkwardly stares there, and so he kind of lets her in, and he soon realizes kind of this like scar that she has, not just like her physical scar, but like also like kind of emotional scars too. And he's kind of sensitive to it because he has some experiences too. So anyways, this started to she just showed up one day and just not like going anywhere anytime, so he just let her stay there. This is how their relationship begins. She's just like they're sleeping separately, and like she's staring at him all night. He's a little bit creeped out by that, but it's a really interesting development of relationship that you see in this series. Please give it a shot. It's coming out on July 6th, and that's my atypical girlfriend. Okay. Next one up is Fate Grand Order Epic of Remnant Pseudo Singularity 3, The Stage of Carnage Shimousa, Seven Duels of Swords Master. Sure, that is just the title of this manga. But as you know, this is like a new manga from the franchise of a popular game by Type Moon, Fate series, and it's illustrated by Rei Wataru, which just I can't say anything like more good about this person's art. I think it's actually phenomenal. So let's take a look. So as kind of usual in the Fate universe, it starts with when the a master meets like a new servant. Seems like it kind of goes back in time though into older time Japan, the samurai days, and it actually follows this like really well-known swordsman named Miyamoto Musashi. And this is the master of this season. She's like time warping and into this like super awesome uh, and uh, and then she actually just shows up to like a setting that seems to be not her own timeline, but then like she recognizes this person who saves her, and she calls her Musashi. Is this person the kind of the this life's version of the legendary swordsman? We're about to find out in Fate Grand Order. oops, sorry. That's coming out on July 6th. Next up. This is a shoujo series, In the Clear Moonlit Dusk by Mika Yamamori. It's actually kind of like refreshing story because mainly because of this main character who all the girls are admiring, this Bishonen looking person, but then she's actually a female and she's just being her. But like she gets like admired by females often. She gets called prince. This is like really cool personality. So like a lot of girls brings her gifts and stuff like that. And like her friends are like, "What you got this time?" from them. So it's kind of like a recurring situation. Until like one day, she kind of gets into this like collision accident in the school with this guy. God, I love that shot right there. The two of them. Um, this is like their first time like ever seeing each other, and then like he kind of like comes up to her and says like you're incredibly beautiful, and she just kind of gets frozen up and kind of walks away from this situation. I'm kind of curious how their relationship builds in the in the Clear Moonlit Dusk by this is coming out on July 13th. Okay, I kind of spoiled myself a little bit, but this next one is also a shoujo manga. This one is My Darling Next Door by Rukana. This one is it's kind of more of a yeah. This is another interesting relationship, I guess. This main character in the series like grew up in like a single parent family. So she took on a lot of like housework and stuff like that. She's like, only a high school student, but like she can do like everything around the house. And then like one day, this new person moves to the apartment next to her, and then she kind of helps her out, this new resident out in a situation he needed help, and then she actually later finds out that he lives in the room next to their house, and like he seems to be like living by himself, and he's about to eat like convenience store food as dinner. So he's like, "Is that your dinner?" Like, so she like comes back again into his apartment to ask if he wants to join them for dinner. And like he's like half naked, and this is a little too spicy for like, remember this is like a high school girl. So she just like asks real quickly and like runs back to her house, and like her dad's like, how'd you go with a neighbor? Yeah, like how did it go with a neighbor? That's My Darling Next Door. That's coming out on July 20th. One more. Saving sweets for after hours. Oh my god, it's just like my everyday or something. No, I love eating sweets at night. It's terrible. This one is a slice of life focused on this woman who is like well established in her company. Like she's like the boss lady. In fact, a lot of people admire her, like in like a kind of interesting way. Like people want want her to be their mistress and kind of like BDSM kind of way. But she's like kind of like mad about the situation because like she never really even had a boyfriend before. So like she's like, like she's kind of keeping that to herself. Now, a lot of people kind of get intimidated by her because she's kind of an ice queen. But then this like, except this one guy who's like this pretty looking guy, he's almost like a little bit too good to be true. And like, he does things like this, and like she's not really comfortable with like him being like a little too chummy with her. So anyways, back when she goes back home, this is how she kicks it. This is her usual style. And she actually has this like blog that's going on that's kind of like an erotica, sort of like a kind of fictional writing, which this is kind of like a hobby that she keeps to herself. And then one day at work, she kind of catches that one coworker talking about something inappropriate to talk about at work, and you know, she also like heard the details of what he was talking about, seemingly to sync up as her writing in her blog. So she kind of like confronts him, saying that, you know, like you know, what you were saying is really similar to what is in my friend's blog, and yeah, busted. So that's the Saving Sweets for After Hours. That's coming out on July 27th. Okay, there's one more that's coming out on 27th of July. That's like Onimai, I'm Now Your Sister. This one is like a little kind of crazy for like how cute it looks, so I really like it already. This, you know, in this world, this guy who is usually like a eroge lover, just a normal dude who usually spends his, you know, most of his time at home, one day wakes up to be a girl. And he's like, you know, goes through this like, you know, the very traditional I'm just checking phase, and like trying to figure out what is going on with his new body. And he get caught by his little sister, but she seems to be not too surprised about this. And then in fact, she is a mad scientist who actually set him up to be a girl somehow. So, you know, long story short, they started to get used to this new life. You know, from him being like, you know, learning to be a girl from scratch, basically. And then, yeah, he's like, you know, trying to get used to like wearing female outfits and so forth. There's a lot more thing that's going on behind the scenes that I'm not showing you here. But you can find out when the manga comes out on July 27th. That's Onimai. Keep an eye out for that manga series. All right, so that's all for the July digital debut announcements. You can also pre-order all these titles on Comixology, Google Play, Kindle, Nook, and Iznio. Any of the preferred digital manga platform, we are there. And then okay, so let's go. As I promised you earlier, this episode is dedicated to Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, to celebrate the climax of the first season of the anime, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. For a lot of us, that's streaming on Crunchyroll right now. And to kind of commemorate this event, we had an exclusive interview with creator Nanashi, and he was kind enough to actually show some of the process work of him making manga. So let's take a look at it. You're the first ones to see this footage, so be ready. All right. Hey, did you hear about the new girl in town? Her name is Nagatoro-san, and she's absolutely sensational. She's cute, she's powerful, and once she has her eyes on you, she just won't leave you alone. So what is her deal? To find out more about her, we had a special interview with Nanashi, the creator of rom-com manga from Kodansha, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Let's check it out. that was really cool to be able to watch that with you all. How'd you think? I'm gonna put that video up on Kodansha US's YouTube later. So if you liked it, if you want to watch it again, go check it out over there. That's not all. We actually asked the followers of social media if they have any questions they're dying to ask Nanashi sensei, and he got back to us. So let's take a look at what he said. Fan Q&A time. Okay. Banu-san, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Banu-san says, your art journey, how did you start drawing? That's a good question. Nanashi sensei said, when I was in elementary school, I used to read Doraemon, and eventually I started to draw the characters with pencil. Then in middle school, I liked Sazan Eyes by Yuzo Takada, and Neon Genesis Evangelion by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. So I bought G-pens and manuscript paper and tried to draw those characters. But I remember it being much harder than I thought, so I gave up pretty quickly. As I got older and I started to work for a company that produced video games, I started to make pixel art. That's when I got my art back, got back into art again, and I've been chipping away at my illustrations since then. Aisu-san said, could you cite some influence of your art style? Nanashi sensei said, regarding art, I think my biggest influences are Yuzo Takada of Sazan Eyes and Yoshiyuki Sadamoto of Evangelion. Cool. Tito-san, how do you make Nagatoro's reactions, her facial expressions feel so unique? It's honestly a breath of fresh air. Totally agree. Nanashi sensei said, when I'm drawing expressions, I don't reference anything, nor think too much about trial and error. I just draw something that comes to my mind. Buraiken-san said, does Naoto have any sibling and are his parents together? Naoto senpai. Whoops, sorry. Nanashi sensei said, senpai doesn't have any siblings and he lives with his parents. Chocobro-san said, is manga going to continue when Naoto graduates? This is like something that's on a lot of our minds, I think. Where are they going? Nanashi sensei said, I haven't thought about the specifics yet and it's to be determined. Please continue to keep your eyes on their relationship. Tease. Tutkoro-san, how do you deal with lack of motivation and or procrastination? Love your work, by the way. Nanashi sensei said, thank you so much for your support. When I'm not motivated, I try to unplug from anything that distracts me, such as my smartphone and game consoles. I go to a cafe and I put myself in a headspace to start working. I think the key is to just start working. It's a really great word of advice. Zak-san says, throughout the manga and the anime, there have been many references and nods to video game and video game culture. This begs the question, what is your favorite video game? Nanashi sensei says, my favorite game is the Siren series. The world, the character, I love everything about it. Another one that I've been into lately is Slay the Spire. Benka-san said, does Nagatoro still have the Ask Me to Do Anything ticket? Nanashi sensei says, she still has it. She may be saving it until a very important occasion. I wonder what that is. Max Tantao-san says, what is Nagatoro's favorite color? Also her favorite water brand. Nana-san says, I don't know what Nagatoro-san's favorite color is, but I like emerald green because it's soothing to the eyes. For the drinks, she likes Kagome tomato juice. Other than that, she may not care. And Peter Young-san says, what is your favorite food? Nana-sensei says, I like Japanese Kyoho grapes. Highly recommended. Half Day-san says, "Are you aware of the existence of the fans outside of Japan?" And Nana-san Sensei says, "Absolutely. Even before I started to serialize the manga, I've been receiving comments from fans from all over the world. I really appreciate everyone's support." And that's that. That's pretty cool. I really like doing this kind of fan Q&A, so please stay tuned to our social media for any future occasions to get to do these like fan Q&A with the creator. Actually, I have one more news, and that is that we are hosting a clubhouse event where you have a chance to talk to the editors of Nagatoro-san. These are the people who are involved in the creation of manga and the anime too. So if you have like a burning question that you're dying to ask them, here's your chance. Come and join us on Clubhouse. That is tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific time. You can also throw questions with the hashtag Nagatoro Clubhouse on Twitter, and we will be looking for any pre-submitted questions as well that we can feature in the talks. So please come and join us at the Don't Toy As Me Miss Nagatoro after party. Cool. Yeah, just like that. We have lots of news that we drop here. We have special footages and messages from the creators. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please subscribe to our channel for future announcements and so forth. And well, speaking of which, next week we will have new licensing announcements for spring 2022. That's seems like a long time from now, but not so much. So come and join us again on this show to find out what is coming down the line in the publishing from Kodansha. That's it for now. Let me take a look at this. The chat is off the chain, and I don't know. Thank you very much, actually, for coming to support our show. I see a lot of audience from Spanish-speaking regions. Gracias. One guy, Dominguez, says, "Que genial, que genial." I think it means brilliant. Gracias. Are you going to upload something new from the Nagatoro-san manga? I think this is the new video, but I don't know. I think if you're not talking about video, stay tuned to our message on our social media channels, particularly Twitter. That's where we often have like new projects up too. Cape said, "We love you, Nanashi! Yay! Thank you very much." Yeah, I'm super stoked that we got to have a chance to talk to Nanashi, and we hope to do stuff like this more in the future too. Carlos says, "Thank you for your hard work, Sensei." Yes, very much. Raisin says, "Pinche Nanashi dice que no vimos muy bien el capítulo 1 del anime porque estaba haciendo otra cosas." Nanashi said he. Okay, sorry about that. My poor Espanol. I did my best. Thank you for your comment, Nanashi. Okay, this one marks Nanashi from hentai to wholesome man. That's thank you very much for a great copy. Ella Hunter says, "Thank you, Kodansha US, for this video. Thank you very much for watching it with us." Nahuel says, "Nagatoro best wife." I think that's universal. Ruan says, "We love you, Nanashi Sensei. Best wife." Misaki Kido. Thank you. That's a lot of really fun comments, and I really appreciate your love. I hope you can join us on the Clubhouse event so we can actually like talk in dialogues. It's gonna be like live Q&As. I'm gonna be there, and maybe a few other special guests is gonna be there. So stay tuned. I'll put up the information about the Clubhouse event on Twitter as well. Thank you for watching the show, and I hope you get to come and join us next week. All right, Peace out.